When I decided to build a treehouse last winter, I started thinking about where to put it, and I found a perfect spot between two hardwood trees. I think these are beech trees. No, beech trees. They're not too far apart. They weren't too far from our cabin. They weren't too close to our cabin. They were on high ground, so in the wintertime it wouldn't turn into a mud hole. And they weren't pine trees, so they don't move around in the wind quite as much as a pine tree. And I started building, and then it was wintertime. And then in the spring, a month or so later, I realized that the tree on the right in this picture was turning really, really green, beautiful. And the tree on the left grew like 8 little wrinkled leaves, and they soon fell off. And I went, oh no, the tree's dead. And by that time, I had gone too far. There was no turning around. So I went ahead and finished the treehouse. And now, after the fact, we got to get that tree down before it starts dropping leaves through the tin roof. So this is a weight tied to this line. It's going to go in this big giant slingshot, and we're going to launch that baby way up there, and hopefully the weight will go over the top and come back down so we can pull a bigger line up with it.
You have to feed me.
Okay, we'll work for food. Okay, so we spooled out enough line, it's a guess, to get over that branch and come back down. And we're very carefully laying it out where it won't get tangled, because it's going to come up really, really fast when he shoots it.
So evidently you must think that Dave, by you, Dave.
Okay, Dave's got the slingshot, and he is aiming. We're going to watch how fast this string comes off this piece of foam. And did you make it?
Yeah.
Come on.
Beautiful.
All right, so now he's going to try to get the weight to slide down on the opposite side of where he just shot it. I can't even see the thing. So the background noise is the tree guy sharpening his chainsaw before he gets started. I guess you can't really see anything. Okay, so first shot went far enough, but it got over a small branch that we didn't want to pull the big rope over. So
You're gonna need to get a big branch. You're gonna need to get a big one because I want you to pull me up.
pull back down, and
Okay.
we'll do it again. No. Okay, so David is getting a slingshot ready to shoot again, and he's red in the face, which means he's pulling pretty hard.
I don't know.
He's got it cocked. Put the weight on it, aim it, shoot it again. Okay, shot number 2. Careful aim.
There we go.
And the weight's falling down the other side and pulling the string. You got it in the right spot?
I think so.
Now, the laborious task of using the little string to pull the big rope. He's almost got it all the way. So my tree climber guy did not want to be filmed, so I blocked out his face whenever it showed. And we're the ground crew. So the pink rope, the Mardi Gras rope, we pulled up a pulley while the blue rope was in the pulley. So the blue rope is going to be the one that the tree climber hangs on to. And the Mardi Gras rope is just fastened off. And I think we're going to tie one end of the blue rope with the tractor to help him get up there, I think. But I'm learning as we go. The tree climber is going up. One rope, we're pulling him up with the tractor, and he's got a spare that would keep him from falling. And now he's just cutting all that obnoxious branches and crap that gets in the way. Beautiful. So with the blue line and the Mardi Gras line pulled out of the way, the pink line is going to the top of the tree to the pulley. He's got it tied to the branch, and he's getting ready to cut the branch. Well, he's been getting ready to cut the branch, but I think he's... Oh, yeah, there we go. Chainsaw. Gonna cut the branch. It's gonna swing to the pine tree. So I had priced getting a 80-foot man basket delivered here, and also a long extend the boom forklift that we could put a man basket on the end of. And in the end, the tree climber dude who did not want to be filmed was more or less the same price. And this way, we didn't have to worry about it. He was going to do the climbing. We ended up shooting 3 ropes up in the trees with that little slingshot deal, which I thought was very cool. The first one we shot up in the top of this pine tree, and we used the string to pull up a rope, and we used the rope to pull up a pulley with the big fat pink rope in it, and that's the rope that caught most of the tree branches and kept them from falling onto the tin roof. They swung out the way. 2 other ropes. One was for the climber to have a rope as a backup. You know, he had his harness and he'd climb the tree with spurs, but that gave him a backup that he clips to his belt. And the other one was both for him and for branches going the other direction. Unfortunately, we didn't finish today. We got a lot of big branches down. It got real hot. The sun came up and it's 95, and the climber, he worked till lunch. After lunch, he didn't want to go back up. I don't blame him too much. Should finish tomorrow. David won't be here tomorrow, so just be me on the ground. I did finish picking up all the stuff we cut today. It's my second load in the wagon. I'll go dump it out by the burn pit. And we'll start earlier tomorrow. Seemed like today it was really like almost 10:30 before he got up in the tree with all the setting up he had to do. But all our ropes are in place. He's even got the saw up on the roof. He's ready to go. So hopefully we'll knock it out tomorrow before it gets too freaking hot. So there's a lot of lines involved with this, and they're expensive and they're long. And the tree climber was pretty particular about his lines, and I don't blame him, but he was a good teacher in telling us what needed to go where. So he's climbing the tree with his belt and his spurs, and he always has a backup. So the green rope that he's pulling on goes through something on his belt that catches it. So if he were to slip, he's still tied. And then the blue rope is the rope he uses to retrieve the pink rope. See, right now he's tying the pink rope on a branch. He's going to cut that branch. The branch is going to fall. And my job will be to lower the branch to the ground through that friction limiter device and untie the branch, get it out of the way, tie the pink line to the blue line so he can pull it back up for his next branch. And he is constantly battling all those ropes, trying to keep them straight, trying to keep his spurs from jamming through one of the ropes and cutting it. And, he's dragging a chainsaw with him. It's a real physical operation, what he's got going on here. I was pretty impressed. Now we're going backwards in time. The white rope, the first thing we did was shoot the little string way high up in the pine tree. And we took this white rope, which happens to be mine, and went over the top, came back down, and we hooked it to a pulley and put the pink rope through the pulley, and then we hauled the white rope back up. And then that's where it stayed the whole time. So this looks like a one-handed, behind-the-back cut here. Gotta be strong to be one of these guys. Here he's got this big piece of trunk, and it's mostly cut, but it won't fall, or it's not falling the way he wants it to. So I threw him up some little plastic wedges that he has in his truck, and he's beating on these wedges to try to open that cut up so he can get his little saw in there and do whatever he needs to do.
Pull it over a little bit, the tractor.
This was the last of the big pieces. After this, he cut the trunk into like 8-inch lengths and just picked up the pieces and threw them over the side. So he was done. He earned his money, paid him off. I helped him pick up all this stuff, which took a while because he had a lot of stuff. And now I'm left with this, a piece of tree trunk sticking out the top of my tree. So now that the top of the tree is gone, I got this big giant stick sticking up through my treehouse. And it's not a live tree anymore, it's dead. But it's still a big hunk of wood. Just like any other untreated board, more or less. If I keep the water off of it, it'll probably be a long time before it has a negative effect on the treehouse. Right now, it still has a positive effect. It's still bracing this overhang, and it's still giving us a lot of lateral support. The roof pretty much nothing. A couple of nails. The deck here, I could support it with one 4x4, but the lateral strength is kind of important. So I'm gonna seal it up and keep the rain off of it and keep an eye. I have no idea what's gonna happen to this tree. I don't know where the roots are gonna fail. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I am gonna seal it up and keep the water off of it. And we'll just play it by ear. Never had this situation before. So I'm preparing to get back up on the roof and build a little house over the tree stump. Guess we could have cut it lower, but I don't think it makes that much difference. So got my ladder up, got it tied off, got a piece of plywood here to walk on. This was the plywood that the tree climber was walking on so his spikes wouldn't go through the sheet metal. And I got a toe board clamped securely, so pretty comfortable getting up there. But the sawdust makes it very slippery, so I'm gonna sweep all the sawdust. And then I got some spray to put on that stump. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna start building some kind of little box around it. Some kind of little box to keep it out of the weather. So I'm up here sitting on my stump, and actually it's kind of a nice spot. Kind of a nice view, but I'll tell you what, I have to do something about my shoes. They are terribly slippery, so yeah, I'm gonna try a different pair. I don't know whether it's the shoes or there's just still dust on the roof, but I didn't deal with this when I put the roof on. It wasn't slippery like this, so I can go from the plywood and I can get on the ridge, but yeah, I can't really function if I can't just stand up straight. So we'll go try another pair of shoes, and yeah, we're gonna start building. Well, some stuff has happened. I went to my truck and got my old harness because it was still in the truck, and I'm tied off to the stump. And if I go straight down the slope, it will probably stop me. If I go that way, it won't, but I won't go that way. And then I made a 2 foot by 2 foot more or less square with some treated 2x6s. I got it level, and I'm gonna screw it down to the top of the stump. And that's gonna be the top edge of the little box we're gonna make. It's hot up here. So top is screwed down, it's pretty secure. And then I leveled down and put a plate, screwed it. It's not exactly right because it wants to move when I screw it down, but it's close enough. And I did the same thing on the other side. So now on this side and this side, I'm just gonna do board on batten, or no, it's actually board on board or batten on board. Anyway, I got my measurement, I'm gonna go cut them, and we're gonna proceed and get some shorter screws for these. Okay, so I got the two opposite sides done. Now I need to do the more complicated sides. It's hot, I'm losing my voice. And I think I'm gonna bring a sawhorse up here and the jigsaw and cut them up here because everyone's gonna be a little different. And that'd be a lot of trips up and down the ladder. It's gonna be a lot of trips up and down the ladder either way, but I think I will bring a sawhorse up here and maybe use that branch as another sawhorse. Let's give it a shot. 3 more little boards to go on the far side. I got everything I need up here to do it. This has been very, very slow because it is very slippery. And there's not an organized way to do this, but just got to take your time, go slow. Still a little dark this morning, but I hope this shows up. This is my span from the outside of the box to the outside of the box. It's 27 inches. So this is the center mark. This is the shortest 2x6 I got left. I got 5 of them, and this is the this is the longest. That one's even shorter. So I got to work with this one. And I was going to do a 4-on-12, but I still have some extra board, so I'm going to do a 6-on-12 and just let it overhang. I'm not going to put a notch at the bottom. So I'm going to cut one end of all these, or cut them all the same length with a 27-degree bevel on them. And I'm going to nail the rafters together down here, which is not much to them, and bring them up there and nail them down. Okay, rafters are complete. I'm going to take this sheet metal and cover this little gable. I was kind of thinking I'd put it on down here on the ground, but then I'm not going to have much access to screw this plate down to my structure up there. So I'll just cut them to fit, and I'll install them up there. I pulled this sheet out of the dumpster when I went to get my roofing sheets. I couldn't resist. It was just sticking out like waving to me. I wish I'd have got a few more. And that's the cover sheet, a cover sheet. This is a scrap that they put on top of your sheets when they band them together with band iron so you don't damage your sheets. And I don't remember where this came from. I think when I built the shed for the boat. Anyway, it's been laying in the dirt. I need to clean it a little bit, and that's going to be the roof. We are ready for the sheet metal roof. But I got an issue. I lost my 1/4-inch nut driver. I didn't lose it. I don't know where it is. I might have lost it. It might have fallen off the roof. So I got these little screws for now, but they're going to rust, so I got to replace them. And I can't put the sheet metal on the roof without the nut driver. Secondly, I didn't bring anything to cut that sheet metal except those worn out snips that I had here. So it's going to be an adventure cutting the metal. So when you don't have the right tools, just make do with a hammer and a chisel. When you don't have a hammer, because it's up there and you don't want to go up the ladder one more time, just make do with a block of wood and a chisel. Okay, so I've relieved these bumps so I can bend this sheet, hopefully right across these lines. All right, first side screwed down, and if my math is correct, I can just fold it over the top and it'll be centered. I think I'll make it. Well, it worked. It bent over here just fine. And I'm putting pookie tape over the holes, mostly because I have it. And secondly, because my ridge cap is not really a ridge cap. It's an eave trim and it doesn't stick down very far. So this will keep wind blowing rain from getting up in there. Like it matters much, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am through. I know I'm through because I threw down the cord, the electric cord, on purpose this time. Yeah, so I'm gonna get a stick and push off some of this thick sawdust to make sure it doesn't stay up here forever. And pick up my tools and get out of here, or get off of here. It's been hard, it's been interesting. It's kind of wonky looking up close, but nobody but you and me are gonna ever see it up close, hopefully. I didn't really notice the big opening under the eave, so this is definitely gonna be a bird nest, or mini bird nests up in there, but it's okay, doesn't matter. And the black around the bottom is where I use spray foam to fill up the gaps, and I sprayed that tree treatment on top of the spray foam to keep the sun off of it. As the years go by, I will keep you posted as to how this trunk is holding up. In the meantime, thanks for watching.